Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies, we look at the intuitive wisdom and insight from the unseen, and we go as guided. And I am so happy to be back with you all here in 2024 and beyond after a little hiatus. A lot happening behind the scenes, and a lot happening this year. So right off the bat as well, just letting you know there is a whole new Dearjames.com website. So if you have not gone to it recently, please do go and check it out. Let me know what you think. And as you all know, whether where you're joining from around the globe, put in the comments a shout out, say hello, and that lets me know that you're there because we incorporate your comments and questions live throughout the show. So let's jump in because there is a lot here to cover. Never a dull moment with the unseen, with Spirit, Source, and Symphony in the universe. So first up, it is an 8-year. 2024 is an 8-year. And what does that mean? The 8 is a symbol for the energetic vibration of personal power, hidden power, shared resources, determination, material and financial gain. It's a pinnacle year. It's the recognition of work, lifestyle upgrades, rebirth, regeneration, transformation. It's all about abundance. It is such an uber super year. And remember as well from the I Ching, the 8 is about unite, coming together. It's also quite interesting. Biblically, it represents new beginnings, meaning a new order or new creation. And it's man's true born-again event when he is resurrected from the dead into eternal life. So, and that can mean literally the 2000 plus moment, that 2000 plus year moment that people have been waiting for, but it can happen in ethereal and in spiritual ways. So keep all of that in mind. But all of this 8-year is about abundance. That's probably the pinnacle word to use, and in its many, many forms. So welcome Alicia, welcome Elizabeth, welcome Olivia, Colleen, Lorna, and Deborah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So excited about this show. It's also because while we didn't start on the 1st of January, it's the 10th of January, which mimics the exact energies with a little twist of the 1st. And so I'm focusing this show this week on the energies of 2024 and what will be prevalent throughout the year. So it's also coming up at the Lunar New Year. It's the Chinese New Year, it will be the wood dragon. And you're going to see how the wood dragon also plays out. The dragon plays out with the 1 in the hexagram because it's January, it's the first of the year. So the 1 energy in the creative force. And it says, to grasp the significance of each Lunar New Year, it's necessary to recognize the attributes of both the element and the animal. With wood as the element for the Chinese New Year of 2024, we embrace growth, success, and the initial stage of development. Wood symbolizes humanity's aspiration to achieve progress, grow, and expand. The Year of the Dragon represents health, strength, and good fortune. So we have this wood element, imagining a tree, growth, expansion, and that it's rooted, it's natural, it's organic. So it's going to come to us in a way that is innate to us. And then combined with the dragon, this strength, abundance, good fortune, wealth, expansion, all of these uber great, you can see me smiling, uber great things. So, yes, Elizabeth is saying, wondering about that last night and today. So yes, it is the wood dragon. And let me jump in because this is going to give us our main theme. I want to show you the main energies. And the main energies, this is where the theme immediately leapt out at me. So you can see that 1 is the creative force, it's to initiate. Today is the 10th. It's a 10. Treading, cautious advance. The 8, 2024 is an 8 year. Uniting, unite. Then you get, when you add the 1 and the 1 of the 10, because a 1 and a 0 is a 1. So a 1, a 1, and an 8 become a 10 again. And then the 1 and the 0 becomes a 1 again. So you can literally see this mirroring, this imaging of as above, so below. So literally the creative force above initiating the creative force below. The treading cautiously above, treading cautiously below. And this central unification, this uniting, this coming together, literally heaven and earth coming together. As above, so below. So this beautiful mirroring. So this is where the main theme came from. And let me just bring it up because there's another aspect here. Here's our image. As above, so below, the gold within. And you see this golden, it's a statue in a sense, and it's the golden hand with a crown of laurel and in gold. And the reason for this image is because the second thing that the unseen said to me, gave to us for this show, was that they said, crown of righteousness. And they said, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And then they gave us the words nobility, noblesse oblige, right order. And they underlined right order. Now, the crown of righteousness is mentioned in 2 Timothy 4:8 and is promised to, quote, those who love and anticipate the second coming of Christ. So that's from a Christianity standpoint. The issue is also the crown of righteousness is given to believers who practiced physical self-governance and therefore ran a successful race. So this is about right order. This is about having a higher consciousness, responding, not reacting. It's to live correctly, rightly, because it is a crown for those who finish the race. And it's not a crown as in a diadem or a crown that is royalty would wear, if you will. It is a laurel crown. It's represented and depicted as a laurel crown. And thereby, here's our main image, our main theme again, as above, so below. This crown of laurel. And so they are, again, to be. It's number 2, letter B. And it's representing that that is what we are to be. We are to be in right order, in alignment, so that we finish the race successfully. We've come to do what our soul said it would do, and we receive this crown of righteousness. And that is a priceless gift, to receive this crown of righteousness. The other thing, the first thing they said, the unseen said, was and this is a bit of an oxymoron. They said accelerated advance. And then the next piece goes with our mantra, and I'm going to bring it up while I'm, because I love this image. So accelerated advance, slow and steady wins the race. And I immediately saw the tortoise and the hare from Aesop's fables. And the moral here is, what they're saying is, as things accelerate, as our advance accelerates, the energies accelerate, things are moving faster and faster and faster. Slow and steady wins the race. And with Aesop's fable, with the tortoise and the hare, you see that the hare was tormenting the tortoise. And finally the tortoise said, okay, let's just, handle this once and for all. Let's do this race. And so, of course, the hare sprinted out really fast and thought, ha ha ha, I'm miles ahead. And as you can see in the back right of the image, took a nap, fell asleep. And yet you see very prominently in the foreground of the image, the tortoise is on the path, right order. Slow and steady wins the race. So the message here from the unseen is, as things are accelerating and advancing, stay centered, stay focused, stay resolute, and allow yourself to win the race. Allow yourself to overcome those that are being loud or challenging, that are acting from a place of hubris. Be the tortoise and win the race. It's the moral. So our mantra again is, slow and steady wins the race. I loved that because at the very beginning I was like, this is an oxymoron, and yet it made perfect sense. It's about, stand in the eye of the hurricane. While everything else is flying around in craziness, stay resolute in the center. It's calm, it's peaceful, and you end up prevailing. The third thing the unseen gave us was no ending, no beginning, continuity. And then I immediately had the image of the Ouroboros. And we had this some time ago, the Ouroboros. I noticed in what's here, there are things that are coming through that they have given us over the course of the last 2+ years. And they said the Ouroboros is an ancient symbol depicting a serpent or dragon eating its own tail. So this theme about the dragon. The Ouroboros entered Western tradition via ancient Egyptian iconography and the Greek magical tradition. It was adopted as a symbol in Gnosticism and Hermeticism, and most notably in alchemy. As above, so below has to do with alchemy, Hermeticism. So there's this piece about the fact that there's no ending or beginning. Contained within the end is the beginning, and the beginning is the end. And thereby, there's a continuity here that's representing the life force renewing itself. So again, Piscean era going away, Aquarian era arriving, and you'll see this relay race. And you'll see this in the Sabian symbols. There's a beauty about the fact that it is a relay race. We stand on the shoulder of giants, of everyone that's come before us. Individually, we stand on the shoulder of our entire family, whether it's birth family, chosen family. We stand on the shoulder of everyone who came before us, everyone that is playing their role, and everyone that will come after us. Because it's this beautiful, life is this relay race, and we all show up and play our role and our part at precisely the right time, for the right reasons, for the right lessons, for the advance. And I could not be more excited that we're all here at this moment, because again, it's leading up to a deliverance. It's leading to a time, to a return. The return begins, where what was before, the beauty of the matriarchal rule, the divine feminine, has reestablished, reclaimed her place, her time. And with that, there is nobility, there is honor, there is chivalry, there is, all of these things where it comes into balance and harmony again. There's respect and honor and grace, as opposed to this holdover from before. And there was a post when the return begins. There's a post that was made, and if you haven't checked it out, do so please on the Dearjames Facebook page. And there's a quote from a famed astrologer, and she speaks to this time of how things advance, they go back, and then they go forward. And that this whole thing of where when it goes back, people think that we're going to reclaim the old ways. And that's what we've been seeing, this whole fierce attempt to reclaim the Piscean patriarchal rule era. But it's an illusion. It doesn't hold or stay. It looks like it's going to, but it doesn't. And then we officially advance, which is now at this point, we're officially advancing, and we're leaving the earth element to the air element, and everything continues on in this air element for, I forget how long. I think it's 200 years, but I may be misquoting that. But beautiful point that we move forward, and there's heavy messages in all of this that is going to show us that this time is about moving forward. That is exactly, Colleen's saying exactly where the country is, meaning the US. And we can see it actually around in Europe and everywhere. There's this cleaving and clinging to a past era, because of course it's been the era for 2,000-ish years. So of course there is the faction that doesn't want it to leave, and so they cleave to it, but leave it does, and thereby we move forward. So looking at the astrological influences, let's just, because there are some, so this is also auspicious about 2024, this 8-year. On the 31st of December, Jupiter stationed direct, the great benefactor. So here's Jupiter stationing direct. On the first of the year, 1/1, Mercury stationed direct. So how we think, how we communicate, our thoughts, how we interact with one another goes direct. So both were retrograde, now going direct. And then tomorrow, 1/11, Capricorn, there's the new moon in Capricorn at 20 degrees Capricorn. So let me bring up, and this is going to tie in with, I'm going to bring up Pam Youngin's North Point Astrology for the first, and here we are. So the thing that I wanted to bring about first on this image is, note this 5-pointed star. The 5-pointed star has to do with Venus, our divine feminine, the representation of the divine feminine, the divine mother. So this star, keep this in mind, this star. And then really the point that I just wanted to bring up in this is that she's talking about, she has a Breakthroughs and Awakenings webinar today. But the point is, she said that she's created this graphic that's showing the important aspects of this year. From the lineup of planets conjunct powerful Pluto in January and February. So there's going to be a powerful conjunction of planets with Pluto. Pluto's moving into Aquarius on the 20th of January, first time in 246 years. To a pivotal total solar eclipse, and then groundbreaking Jupiter-Uranus alignment in April. Many astrologers are talking about this Jupiter-Uranus alignment in April. Like, big deal. To the surprising Mars-Uranus conjunction in July, to the first Pisces eclipse in September, to impatient Mars opposing Pluto, and then going retrograde in theatrical Leo at the end of the year. We're in for the adventure of a lifetime. So 2024 is going to be the adventure of a lifetime. It's going to have many different elements, shock and awes, things that are foreseeable, things that are unseen coming to light. And they're saying, they're giving me, what is it? It's going to be a bumpy night. It's, I think, Betty Davis quote about it's going to be a bumpy. It's not going to be, all easy, smooth sailing. There's going to be bumps and hiccups in the ride. And however, again, smiling, the joy of it, stay focused on the joy of the ride. Allow it to take you where you're meant to be. Do not hold on to the past. Let it go. Empty your vessel. Make room for the present future. That is where the true glory resides. So let's move to, and let me just bring up one more thing I want to do with Pam Youngin's North Point Journal. This is from this week, and she's talking about the yes, James, yes, the Capricorn new moon. I'm getting back in my groove, you all. Bear with me. I'm getting back. So here we are, and what she's talking about is the Capricorn new moon, which is tomorrow. The first new moon of 2024 occurs at 3:57 Pacific Standard Time this Thursday, January 11th, when the sun and moon align at 20 degrees 44 minutes, arc minutes, Capricorn. A new moon in the sign of the sea goat is usually a fortuitous time for setting goals and aiming our sights on the mountaintop. See, it's to aim for the mountaintop, reach for the stars. It is a 8-year, it is an abundant year, wood dragon, 8, and thereby there's no playing it small. There's no second guessing yourself or others. If you're second guessing others, you're looking in the wrong place. Look in, stay focused, stay centered, and know that you're aiming your sights for the mountaintop. Capricorn is known to be self-sufficient, disciplined, hardworking, perfect qualities for making successful ascent. And there's no dragging all of this crud stuff behind us as we're making this ascent. Be incredibly mindful of what you're letting go and let it go. Because you want to walk unencumbered. You want to make your ascent light, très léger, just completely unencumbered. The sun and moon are in harmonious trine aspect to Uranus for this lunation, helping us envision new possibilities that may have been out of our comfort zone in the past. Uranus represents, expect the unexpected. So we're literally in a harmonious trine with this aspect. Uranus encourages us to be progressive, true to self, independent, and innovative as we set our goals and strive to achieve them. This is about being authentic, uniting, as above, so below. This is about your higher self, your soul self, being united with your earthly self, your human self, ego, personality, mind self. That is what we're talking about. However, the new moon is in hard aspect to Saturn. It's semi-square, and also Chiron and Eris. We may therefore be dealing with some delays in realizing our goals and need to navigate some self-confidence issues or the fear that we'll never attain what we desire. With Saturn involved, there might be a very good reason for what appears to be setbacks. And when the planet known as Father Time slows our progress, not only is it teaching us lessons of patience and discipline, it is also aligning us with the best cosmic timing for our endeavors. So this is truly about remembering, Saturn, Father and Time, and you're going to see with the Sabian symbols coming up in a second, how there's this point of right order and cautious advance. It's about doing it right. It's not about just running roughshod and being, crazy about what we're doing. It's to be disciplined, slow and steady wins the race, centered, focused, and yet exuberant, abundant, possible. I am open to receive. That is another beautiful mantra for us. I am open to receive. I am open to receive. I am open to receive that which is best for me, highest and best, soul best. Keep that in mind. The square between the new moon and discontented Eris is especially strong since the dwarf planet is at a standstill on Thursday. I always take aspect. I know that, from astronomy place and so forth, they refer to planets, certain planets, as dwarf planets. I don't subscribe to that theory solely from the place of energy, to not minimize any element, instrument, energy that we interact with. This aspect indicates possible conflicts and power struggles that delay the manifestations we are working toward. These challenges require us to be aware of our true motivations and to develop new levels of emotional maturity and patience. See, it's really about bringing the ego, mind, personality in service to the soul. It is rebalancing, seeing ourselves, what's the purity of our intention, and then aligning so that what comes correctly. And thereby it's authentic, not inauthentic. This is all about, it's a capstone year. Remember, that's what they told us, that 2024 is a capstone year. After that show about the capstone, there is an author that I've read many of her books. And it has to do with the south of France and the Pyrenees and that region. And she did a post where it was showing the capstone. Then there was a astrologer that was doing a YouTube video that was showing and kept saying, using a card and saying capstone, capstone. So there's an affirmation for all of us that this capstone year, this capstone moment, let me rephrase that, moment, not year, because it's a capstone moment, meaning all-seeing eye. The capstone of the cap of the pyramid represents the all-seeing eye. It represents source. And they're saying that 2024 is a capstone moment, and thereby greater revelation, greater wisdom, greater seeing, our ability to see through things is going to be magnified. So this point that Pam Youngins was speaking to is this piece about making sure that our actions are aligned with that capstone ideal, that capstone moment. It's not buried in the ego, mind, personality. It's emanating from the soul. That's the purity of the wisdom. Let's bring up the astro chart. This is the astrological chart from January 1st, 2024, New Year's Day. And in the center, you will see this blue triangle. At the top of the pyramid, at the capstone, is the sun. Can't make it up if you tried. To the bottom right is Jupiter, having gone direct. And the bottom right of the blue triangle in the center is the moon and Lilith. One other aspect, you'll see then cutting right across where the capstone line would be, on the bottom left in red is Saturn, and in the upper right of the red line, solid red line, is Venus. So keep this in mind. I'm going to have these left up while I do this, and I want to go to the Sabian symbols about these. So the sun is sitting at the top of the pyramid, and it says a large group of pheasant on a private estate. The refinement and propagation of aristocratic values by means of which man participates in the evolution of life toward ever more perfect forms of existence. So this is about refinement and propagation toward ever more perfect forms of existence. That's where we are leading. All life implies a hierarchy of values, from the crude to the subtle, from the rough and the ugly to the beautiful. By the use of biologic biological techniques, man is able to develop new species, or at least to greatly improve those found in the wild. This ability is at the root of all cultural processes. Wilderness is turned into the gardens of aristocracy, having the leisure, taste, and money to produce or encourage the creation of beautiful forms. So we can take the chaos, we can take the raw energy and create something beautiful, something refined. This is what the social process produces in its highest aspect. This first symbol shows us how man can cooperate with nature in creating beauty and elegance by capitalizing on skill and opportunity. It's about taking, so it's how the ego, mind, personality, humankind, man, womankind, can work with the soul, with this higher, with nature, and create beauty and elegance, aristocracy, something of value that's refined, that is cherished on an earthly level. And yet it invokes and involves and originates from the unseen source, nature. That's the sun. We come then on to the left, which is Jupiter. This cantilevered bridge across a deep gorge. The conquest of separativeness through group cooperation. So through this disunity, we're going to bridge the gap to unity. 8-year, unite. We're going to bridge this chasm, this gap. And it says the man-made bridge built with collective skill gives substance to and demonstrates man's capacity to conquer obstacles and to achieve evolutionary continuity as well as expansion in space. There was that no ending, no beginning continuity. And this conquering of obstacles. And it's to remember, it's a bridge built of collective skill that gives substance to man's capacity. That's Aquarian, we the people, because it's coming together to unite, to be as one, that what we offer and what we do serves not only self, but all. That's what we're talking about, and that is innate in all of us. The unseen is making a point right now for that this is innate in you. It's already present. So nothing that they're talking about is outside of us. So this moment of bridging the gap, of unity, of serving, that what we do serves all, while in synchronicity and reciprocity, it serves self. So it's a complete switch, because we've been in this mindset of serving ourselves, and whether it serves others or whatever is, kind of an add-on or something. It's not a primary thought. This is the inverse of that, and how it comes together. The point is that the unseen is making is that shift is already innate within you. And we can see, they're making me laugh, because we can see how there are those that completely understand what they just said, and there are those that understand it and don't want it. And that's the chasm, and yet forward we go, advance we go. The moon on the astro chart, bottom right, a merry-go-round, the first experience of the dynamic intensity of life processes and of the possibility of using them to reach a characteristic ego satisfaction. So there's several features about this. This is about, and this brings up this image. I'm just going to bring this up very quickly. The big tent, the carousel, the merry-go-round, this, and see that we're exceeding, we're going higher, to an octave higher. That is what this symbol conjures. And it talks about the fact that in its broadest sense, we see here a characterization of what the developing consciousness, and at a certain level, the disciple on the path. We are all disciples on the path. So it's talking about, in its broadest sense, it's the characterization of what the developing consciousness on a certain level, the disciple on the path, experiences, an objective approach to the life force. See, it's about being, welcome Sue, it's about being objective, an objective approach to the life force. The life force, the divine feminine life force, that genie in the bottle that's never going back in the bottle, never to return to the bottle. We are not to hold the energy. We are not to harness it in any way, shape, or form other than to allow it to permeate and move through us, to work through us, to inspire. So that's this objective approach to this life force, to this quote unquote new energy. Lilith, conjunct the moon in the bottom right of the blue triangle, two heads looking out and beyond the shadows. The growth of true understanding born out of the transcendence of duality, even while immersed in the world of duality. See, this is about going above. It's about exceeding, there's that exceeding the duality that we live in. Well, that requires us to connect to a higher mind, to a higher octave, because we can get stuck on the surface. We can stay rooted, encumbered, obstructed, ego, mind, personality in this duality. Or we can recognize the duality and we can take it up a notch. We can take it up an octave and operate from this place of one consciousness, this one consciousness force. And that in and of itself, because it's in essence creative unity. It's the new God, air quotes, Ishvara, source of new cycles of manifestation. So we can connect to this higher octave of what is to be, what is occurring. Because again, matriarchal harmony of the two. So it is a high, and it's new to us in this lifetime, in this era. It doesn't mean that we haven't experienced it before. We have. It's just first time in 246 years that Pluto has been in Aquarius. First time that we're coming back around to matriarchal rule in the last 2,000 plus years. There was a time, and it is in our history, we can look back and see where the divine feminine was revered, absolutely revered. However, that time was long ago. So here we are. I want to say again, but here we are. Now, last but not least, the red line, this piece, and as you saw with Pam Youngins talking about the new moon in Capricorn with Saturn maybe slowing things down. This is very interesting because again, Saturn, father time, the representing the masculine and so forth, and then Venus, of course, representing the feminine. And there's a beauty here so with Venus, just bring it back up again. So top of the chart in the center circle, the solid red line. So Venus, two men playing chess, the transcendent ritualization of conflict. We're talking about this conflict. We see it on the world stage of the old era and the new era, the old order, the new order. And it says, essential to socio-cultural living is the transmutation of man's natural aggressiveness under most conditions of existence. Many rituals, sports, and games have no other basic aim. In chess, the complex type of energies which in their togetherness constitute a human person are symbolized by 6 kinds of pieces: the king, the queen, bishops, knights, rooks, and pawns. The struggle between light and darkness, the yin and yang forces, is ritualized, ending in most cases with the checkmating of the king, the ego, mind, personality, conscious self. In a dualistic world, such a contest between polarized forces is omnipresent. The chess game trains men to be more objective, more careful, more aware of whole situations, and less impulsive and intent upon side issues. Accelerated advance, slow and steady wins the race. Chess teaches people to be more objective, more careful, cautious advance, more aware of the entirety of a situation, not what lies on the surface. That's cheap and easy. It's so easy to just pick up the mantle of what's on the surface without ever understanding the whole situation, the entirety of something. What's underneath? What is the real roots of the flower? And less impulsive and intent on side issues. Running amok, getting distracted, running off half-cocked without understanding what's going on. This third stage symbol deals with conflict, but at the level of group culture and psychological symbolization. It brings to the objective consciousness the basic realities in interpersonal interplay, meaning we are all one. So the more we slow and steady wins the race, the more we slow down and dive below the surface, step back from the issue to receive the gold. Because it's about, remember, it's about right order. It is about successfully completing the race, crown of righteousness. It's about that energetic. So now here we have Saturn up the left side of the astro chart. I'll bring that back up again really quickly. So Saturn, heavy car traffic on a narrow isthmus linking two seashore resorts. So the mobility and intensity of interchange which make possible and characterize complex social processes. See, we have in this given moment in our world, we have this intensity of interchange, these complex social processes, one trying to hold on, one advancing. And imagine it like an isthmus, this strait between connecting two portions of land, two time frames, two eras. Here we see the concept of commerce and social interaction in a new form. What is stressed is the need to establish unceasing dynamic relationships between all aspects and functions of social life. The more complex the relationships, the more dynamic and restless the society. In this symbol, the isthmus refers to a geographic situation found near San Diego, California, where these Sabian symbols were produced. Also in Florida and elsewhere, a narrow strip of land separates the sea from a lagoon, and on this strip, houses are built and roads are consistently filled with moving cars. The proximity of the sea stresses the collective nature of social experiences, because the vast sea represents the ocean, the raw energy, the raw source of everything, and thus the ocean, the proximity to it. And then this refined piece, land, homes have been built on it. So, and experiences of what may appear to be individual achievements. So this fourth stage symbol evokes many aspects of what several levels can be called traffic, noise, static, traffic, conflict. The technique for achieving social results is always based on an interchange of ideas and interplay of activities. Often, however, confusion ensues and traffic jams are ever-present possibilities. The fabulous, interesting thing about this is here's this red line, which is a challenge, a conflict between the old and the new. And yet, what is required to navigate this narrow passageway? Ideas, interchange of ideas, interplay. It will again be right order, discipline, cautious advance, and yet enthusiasm, abundance. Because again, once it's clear that the old has crumbled, perished, gone away, not to return, the new emerges, and it emerges in a way. However, it is like with the divine feminine. It is not to swing the pendulum so far that we run roughshod over, that the oppressed become the oppressor. That's not the moral of the story. And as much as that is a human reaction to do so, it is for us to find, because we have a narrow passageway to transition. What they're saying to me is to transition successfully, purposefully. authoritatively. And authoritatively meaning I am. I am doesn't run roughshod. I am is the lion of the, it's the king of the jungle. The lion doesn't have to roar to be recognized. It just is. So there's a lot of profound imagery here. All of this taking place, teeing this up for the year of 2024, this 8-year. I'm going to move to the hexagram 1 and bring this in. And it talks about, so hexagram 1, of course, is the creative force. It represents the divine masculine. It is to initiate. And so, of course, we need that force, a healthy ego, mind, personality, in order to execute, to move, to advance in alignment with our new understanding, our higher active, our higher self leading the way, our soul self leading the way. So with this, 2 beautiful quotes. The first one, life shows its harmony when you discover your connection to what unfolds. It's about flowing with the time, with the energy, with the era, not against it. And it is about this beautiful, this is a fern unfolding in the image. And by the way, the fern, the replications of each one of these is exact. It's an exact replica. We have the same thing. It is, it's eluding me. It's the fractal, and it's the golden triangle, and so forth. But that's what life shows its harmony when you discover your connection to what unfolds. It's about being right order, right divine time, divine order, being divine with what you're doing and pursuing in life, and how you're thinking and acting and speaking, because that will demonstrate the harmony and the connection to what unfolds. The second one is, and here's again the imagery of a crown, a little kingdom I possess, where thoughts and feelings dwell, and very hard the task I find of governing it well. A quote by L.M. Alcott. The previous quote was by Carrie Hone at cafeosoul.com. Notice the crown. This is a royal crown, if you will. A little kingdom I possess, where thoughts and feelings dwell, the ego, mind, personality, and very hard the task I find of governing it well. See, this is again about coming into right order, harmony. And it's about the crown of righteousness, not the royal crown, meaning an earthly royal crown. It's the way they're saying it, it's about the crown in heaven. Allow that to be your guiding light. Allow that to be what differentiates you from others. Not competition, collaboration in a pure positive form of that word. It is about harmony and unity and oneness coming together, and how you do that first within and then outwardly with others. So hexagram 1, initiate. Its secondary influence is itself, the creative. And its underlining cause is the receptive. So the divine feminine is its underlining cause. See, she's the foundation. She's there to yield, to be receptive, so that when we use our creative life force, we're wielding it in a proper way and form. Do no harm. Do unto others as you would have done to you. It's this principle. The creative embodies the active principle in the universe and represents initiating action. The lines in this hexagram refer to the dragon, which in China is honored as a benevolent and powerful creature. When this energy of empowerment remains dormant in the psyche, we can give away our power. We can operate with the undermining or self-gratifying and fearful behavior of the ego. This suppressed energy funds the shadow in dreams, a great source of our original power. We therefore project and encounter it in others until we can own it and become fully empowered. See, where we're lacking internally, Others will play their role. They are characters in our play. They will mirror to us what we need to see in ourselves. So it's never them. They're playing the role our soul asked them to play, so that we can become more fully empowered, so that we get the lesson, so that we understand it. Because once we get it, we don't need another to mirror it, to reflect it to us. An opportunity for expansion and authentic empowerment emerges, which requires assertiveness and persistence. If you currently feel held back or victimized, remove the shackles because they are merely self-limiting beliefs. Initiative is required to succeed, although it is important to move in sync with the time and respond with openness. See, it's about moving with the times. It's about being open to the times. It's about responding to them, not reacting to them. It's about embracing them, not being fearful of them. It's going to be incredibly magical because it's unknown. It's new experiences. That is what is before us. The creative is duplicated in the hidden influence position and underscores the idea of initiating, where the receptive, as the underlining cause, shows that period of reflection and retreat must give way to active expression. So we've been contemplating this time, since the 70s or something, the age of Aquarius. We've been contemplating. Now it's time for that to give way for its reality, for its arrival. A new burst of inspiration has gestated, and you can now bring it to life. There is great potential waiting for you to tap into. This is such a pinnacle moment. And let me bring up two, because this came in with as above, so below, is represented by, bringing this up on the screen, the magician in the tarot. And literally on the right of the screen, you see the image, and this is from Luminous Tarot by Brigitte Ashwood. You see what ultimately the depiction looks like Master Jesus to me. And you have the infinity symbol, which is associated with Master Jesus. It's the 8 turned on its side. So this eternity, infinity, but literally the image, the male's hand, his right hand is raised with the wand upward towards heaven, and his left is pointing downward. As above, so below. The magician is all about manifestation. It is about abundance. It's about creating. And it is literally, the magician has all four, has the pentacles, the cups, the wands, and the swords. Has everything you need. It too is like the card that precedes this, which is the Fool. In the knapsack of the Fool carries all of the elements, everything it needs. And then you look at the abundance, all of the flowers, the lilies, the roses, all of this abundance, all of this radiant gold yellow light. So one of the key cards for this capstone moment is the magician, to manifest. And look, it's a 1. It's the first card. So it's the creative force energy. It is to manifest. Then you look to the left on the screen and you see the star card. Note that it is number 17 in the tarot. 1 and 7 is an 8. So we have this amplifying this, and you have divine masculine, divine feminine. And note the star, and there are 8 stars denoted. The one big central yellow star, and then 7 blue stars representing the Pleiades, the 7 sisters, and so forth. But you notice she's in the divine feminine, in her natural state, nourishment, the soma, the nourishment being poured into the waters of life and into the earth of life. That is what this is talking about. So this rejuvenation, this beauty of being reborn in this moment, this capstone moment, this 8-year of abundance, this wood dragon year, creative life force, and wood. It's not fire. See, it's not a fire dragon. It's a wood dragon. Wood, earth, nature, harmony, nourishment, shelter. it's a divine feminine aspect. And so it is the fact that we are moving so powerfully into this matriarchal, divine feminine, Aquarian age. And the fourth thing that was on the list from the unseen, which ties into this, they said, time to play. And then I instantly heard, and we've had this before, come out, wherever you are. And of course, it's iconic. It's when Dorothy lands in Munchkinland in The Wizard of Oz. Glinda the Good Witch comes down, and of course, the moral of the story is, ding dong, the witch is dead. So the Wicked Witch of the East is morto, dead. So, and it's foundational. So they're saying to us all, and really the image that I'm getting in this moment is internally. What they are saying to you, to us, is from an internal place. Come out wherever you are. And wherever was underlined, meaning wherever you are in life, wherever you may be, it's never too late. You're always right on time. However, the point is, it's time to play. It's time to come out again. It's time that your native, authentic, organic self, soul self, comes out. The child within comes out. So come out wherever you are, because ding dong, the Wicked Witch is dead, is the moral of this story, of number 4. Number 5, they said, surprise, with 3 exclamation points. What was unknown becomes known to you, with an exclamation point. So again, things that may have been hidden, things that you need to know in order to advance, things that you need to know in order to let go. Surprise, and it's number 5, it's changes. What was unknown becomes known to you. It will be purposeful. It will be for the point, remember, whatever you are shown, it's so that you will advance. So again, do not get caught up in the emotion or the ego mind personality of something. Sit with it. You connect with your higher self, with your soul self, with your source connection, and see what was unseen in its highest purity, purpose, and perspective, because it's meant to advance you. That it's purely meant, it's harmonious. It's for your highest and best. Number 6, we've had this again before. I heard, and 6, spirit and service. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. And so again, namaste, I bow to the divine in you. Patriarchal, Piscean era rule, namaste, I bow to the divine in you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because we stand on the shoulder and the precipice of that era. And what they're showing is the fool standing on the edge of the cliff. And then instead of falling down, the fool steps up. It's a step up. We're going back to where we began, but an octave higher. So it's a step up. And so this free at last, thank God Almighty, we're free at last, is again enslavement, tyranny, oppression, suppression, all of these things leaving us being in the past, leaving it in the past. And that can be true of self. So remember to apply these things, not just in the world we see, but your internal world. Where have you been the oppressor, the suppressor? All of these things. Where have you been holding yourself back and down? Where have you enslaved yourself or kept yourself small or played it small? Come out wherever you are, because it's time to play. And time to play. Think of children playing. what are they doing? They're magically creating. They're in another world. They are unencumbered, unhindered. They are completely free. And they're going as guided, and they're utilizing their creative force in the most pure, in harmony with one another. But they're creating. That's what they're doing. And they're manifesting. They're experiencing it. Moral of the story. Last but not least and then number 7, which has to do with, and we've had this before as well. There was a lot here that was encapsulated. So they're building upon all that we've been given. And number 7 was Purple Rain. And it's the song by Prince. So Purple Rain. And Prince explained the meaning of purple rain. He said, when there's blood in the sky, red and blue equal purple. Purple rain pertains to the end of the world and being with the one you love and letting your faith/God guide you through the purple rain. So, and then the title track of Prince's previous album, 1999, also included similar references to an ominous purple sky. Could have sworn it was Judgment Day. The sky was all purple. Remember that Judgment Day, end of times, all of this stuff is the end of an order. It's the end of an old way. And I want to make sure, because I want to end with this and mindful of the time to stay on time, we're going to be slightly over. But this was the point that made so much sense. This is from Isaiah 43:16, 18, 19. It says, "This is what the Lord says. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the desert and streams in the wasteland." So, however you, higher faith, source, God, Allah, Buddha, however you ascribe to your faith and a higher sense of presence and calling and so forth, the point here with purple rain and everything is there is an end of an order, there's an end of an era, there's an end of a time, and a new one commences. And here, biblically, in Isaiah, here's the Lord saying, forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the desert and streams in the wasteland. Regeneration, renewal, rebirth, abundance. These are all demonstrations of that. How this all ultimately plays out, that's up to the unseen. What we know today, be ready, live in right, be successful in completing the race, crown of righteousness, in an accelerated advance in this accelerated time. Slow and steady wins the race. There's no ending, no beginning. It's got continuity. And it's time to play. I love that. It's time to play. Surprise, what was unknown will be known to you. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. I'm all in. I hope all of you are. Thank you so much for participating and joining in today's show and on this journey. Without you, it would not be the same. Welcome, Brigitte. And without all of you, it would not be the same. And I have to say, I'm eternally grateful for all of you and for your presence, your energy, your love and support. And I could not be in better company with fellow travelers. So thank you, beautiful soul family. I'm just going to add in, Brigitte said, it was shown to me that we are just pushing through the center of the hourglass, figure 8, infinity sign. Yes, so let it flow and trust, live with intention. Exactly, because again, the flow, it turns. We turn the tides, we turn the time, and we live in such an incredible moment of grace and opportunity and goodness and deliverance. We truly do. we're getting through the tube of the hourglass, if you will, that peduncle in a champagne bottle and everything, that squeeze, and yet what does it do? Whew, opens up into a whole new era. Love you all. Look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, be well and be kind with yourselves and with others.